right, we have a couple more people coming in, and we're going to get started here in about 2 minutes at the latest.
Scott.
Brother Singletary, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we are live and set. All right. Good morning, everyone. I just want to welcome everyone this morning to our Spring Guide Right virtual college experience. We have representatives today from Clinton College, Kentucky State University, University of Maryland Eastern Shore, and Fisk University. At this time, I'm going to turn everything over to Mr. Cedric Singletary, representative from Clinton College. I'll let him introduce himself and we'll take it from there. Mr. Singletary, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning to everyone. I am excited to be a part of this event and to share Clinton College with you all. I too am a product of Kappa League. I was a member of Kappa League in high school. And as I matriculated through South Carolina State University, also became a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. So it is great to be able to share my information on this platform. So I know we have about 30 minutes. So I'm going to jump right into it. My name is Cedric Singletary, and I am the Director of Admissions for Clinton College. And Clinton College is a small private HBCU located in Rock Hill, South Carolina. We are the oldest institution in Rock Hill and the only HBCU. So with that being said, I have a short presentation I want to share, and I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to show you a quick 1-minute video just to show you a little bit of the campus and then a PowerPoint presentation. Presentation this morning. Clinton College was founded in 1894 by presiding elder Nero A. Crockett and Reverend W.M. Robinson, and it was named after Bishop Caleb Clinton, who was the Palmetto Conference presiding bishop at the time, as we are a part of the AME Zion Church. We were founded as one of the many schools established by the African Methodist, Episcopal Zion Church during Reconstruction years to help eradicate illiteracy among freedmen. And again, Clinton is the oldest institution of higher education in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and we are the only HBCU. We are founded on 4 pillars, and those 4 pillars are scholarship, service, spirituality, and social change. And those are so incredibly important, especially in this environment that we're living in. And scholarship, not just in school, but we're talking about making sure students achieve regardless of where they are or regardless of where they find themselves in life. And my brothers can understand when I say in every field. So service, also not just to the school, not just service to oneself, but service to our community and service to the community from which they have transitioned from. And after the 2 or 4 years, will be transitioning back into spirituality, as we are a part of the AME Zion Church. However, we do not push religion on our students, but we want them to know that it is our focal point and we can guide them as they're in their search for spirituality. And then, of course, social change. And in this climate that we're living in, we understand why that is necessary and why that is important to let our students know that they can create the change they want to see in their atmospheres. Our campus is extremely small. We have about 150 students on campus, and we love it that way because family is one of our principles and religion. So you will never come on our campus and be 1 in 100 or 1 in 3,000. You will get to know your students or your professors. You will get to know your classmates. There's nothing for students to come sit in my office between classes, just chop it up, kick it between the classes, share their life stories with me. We build that relationship with our students so they feel like they're home. We have a 12-to-1 professor to student ratio. So inside of your classes, you'll never have 50 or 100 students where you're too overwhelmed to reach out and connect with the professor. You'll typically have 15 to 20 students in all of your classes. And we try to keep it that way so you can make those connections. We offer associates as well as bachelor degrees. We have associate degrees in religious studies, business administration, early childhood development, natural science, biology, liberal arts, and we also offer bachelor's degrees in religious studies, business administration, and biology. And it's okay if you don't see the major that you're particularly looking for here, because we are a school of opportunity. So we can accept you regardless of your high school standing and help you build that academic record, help you get a footing, and we can assist you in transitioning to a school that may have your more closely aligned major. And we'll talk a little bit about that in the next slide, I believe it is. So here we see we have no in-state versus out-of-state tuition. All of our students will pay the same cost. There is no minimum GPA for acceptance, no SAT or ACT score requirements. Let me pause right there. And I was saying, even if we don't have your major, let's say you don't have the 2.5 to get into a larger school, or let's say you didn't make the SAT or the ACT score requirements to get into that school. You can come to our institution and we can start your academic career. We'll give you those general freshman general ed courses that you will take at any institution that you would go to, that freshman English, that freshman math, those freshman seminar courses. And then in 2 years, we can assist you in transferring to the institution that may have your major. Now, it is our hope that you come on campus and go into one of our programs and stay for the 4 years. But if you have a plan, an academic plan, we will definitely assist you in transitioning to an institution that may have your major. We offer scholarships, and we have a church matching scholarship up to $500. So if you are a part of a church or a religious community and they give you $500, Clinton College will match it $500. So you have $1,000 coming in the door. If they give you $250, we'll match it $250. If they give you $1,000, we'll match it up to $500. We offer a choir scholarship, and of course, you have to audition. And once you audition and make the choir, you get an additional $500 scholarship. We have athletic scholarships, and those scholarships amount varies. So we do have men's and women's basketball. We have cheerleading or dance. We have the drum line. And so all of those programs will add to you additional scholarship dollars. There is a merit and a presidential scholarship that we provide our students. And although there's no minimum GPA for acceptance, in order to qualify for a presidential or merit scholarship, there is a GPA requirement. The presidential scholarship, you must have a 3.0 GPA or better. And for the merit scholarship, you have to have a 2.5 GPA or better. We are a school of opportunity. There is a place for you here at Clinton College. As you can see, we have removed every barrier that prevents a student from getting a four-year education. So if you are looking for a four-year education and you may not have done your best, or you did your best you could, but you didn't get the marks you needed for large institutions, you can start here at Clinton, and we will make sure to groom you and grow you so you'll be ready and prepared if you decide to transition to another institution. Here's our tuition and fee schedule. I won't spend a lot of time on this, but if you look here, our tuition for the year, just the tuition, is only $9,920. Now, there are additional fees in there, such as your housing, your meal plan. And when you look at the housing and meal plan, all inclusive for the year, we are just at $19,900. So we are affordable. And if you decide to come on campus and maybe you want to get your own place, or you don't want to live in one of the residential halls, those fees can be changed. So if you're just paying for the tuition for the year and you're going to be an off-campus student, you're only looking at just over $10,000 a year. That's important to say because in April of 2020, University HQ ranked us the most affordable college four-year institution in South Carolina. And that was solely based on our tuition, which came in right at $9,920. Just recently, we were awarded nearly $500,000 to extend educational opportunities in rural South Carolina. And we are the only higher ed institution in the Carolinas to receive this funding. And so this funding that we receive will allow us to expand our campus and expand educational opportunities in those rural areas, and such as schools, churches, libraries, adult learning centers. We can now provide resources for those institutions to help students get what they need. We are a part of the basketball division, USCAA Division One. We're in the EMAC basketball conference for men and women. And our first year in that conference, our varsity men's team won the 2019 championship, and our young ladies were in the top 5. So both of our basketball teams are extremely strong. So with that, I've already showed the video. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And if any of you have any questions or concerns, you can, I don't know if you want to, Mr. Scott, if you want to wait to the end for questions, but I'll stick around and I'll put my information in the chat. So you all have my contact information, my cell and my email, and I'll drop the web link if any student wants to apply. So that's my time. Thank you for allowing me to present. And if you have any questions, I'll be around and available to answer.
Okay. At this time, we'll open up the floor for questions that any students or parents may have for Mr. Singletary. Okay, I'm going to ask a couple of questions, Mr. Singletary. So basketball, are those the two sports pretty much that you all have, men's and women's basketball at Clinton College?
Yeah, currently, those are the two sports we have. We're in the process of implementing more sports such as volleyball. We're starting an esports team. So we do have esports, and we're looking at women's basketball, but we are in the process of adding sports. With the pandemic that kind of shook us, we had to put some things on hold because we are offering remote learning this semester. It is our hope in August that we can bring all of our students back on campus and present them with the additional sport options.
Mr. Singletary,
Yes, sir.
do you all have any fraternities and sororities on campus?
We are in the process of submitting applications for fraternities and sororities. We do not have them on campus yet, but we are in the process of trying to develop those Divine Nine organizations on campus. And it's my hope that Kappa Alpha Psi will be one of the first. Our president is an Alpha, so he's pushing for Alpha Phi Alpha, but we'll see what happens. But we are in the process of including the Panhandling Council on campus. Yes.
What other additional extracurricular activities would a student be able to experience at Clinton College,
Okay,
especially as an incoming freshman?
Right. So we have several opportunities. We do have a food council. We have SGA. That's a big one. We have SGA. We have a student leadership organization. I personally started an admissions ambassadors group that we take in freshmen and sophomore, junior, and senior students, and they serve as campus ambassadors. So we can provide tours, students. There are is several things on campus can come be a part of. Now, we also, because we are a smaller institution, if there is something that you want to serve of student activities, Mrs. Tamika Bowler, show her your plan and she will help you start whatever program or club that you are wanting to see. So we have opportunities for expanding growth and extracurricular activities.
Okay, before I ask my next question, I want to see if any of the students have any questions. Okay. What type of ROTC programs, if any, do you all offer?
So currently, again, we do not offer ROTC, but I have met with our task force, and we are in the process of working with our ROTC program in Rock Hill to include an ROTC program on our campus. So all of those things are endemic coming in. We had to kind of, put some things on pause, but we are in the process of reaching out to some ROTC services to have that included on campus. So I'm hoping to have an update by the fall of 2021.
Okay. Do you all offer any, I want to call it overseas learning, but study abroad. I'm sorry. That was my term I was looking for. Study abroad programs.
Right. So currently we don't offer study abroad program, and it's two-part. One is because of the pandemic, things had to come to a pause. But we are in conversation, and I've received some emails from some study abroad opportunities that we have to collect and share with our board of trustees and our cabinet members to get approval for such opportunities. But I have had some opportunities where agencies have reached out to us to offer study abroad options to our students.
Okay. All right. If you could, did you put all your contact information in the chat also for everyone? Okay.
Yep, I'm getting ready to put it in the chat now.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. That's all the questions I have. Anyone else have any additional questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Singletary. If you want to hang around for the others, just in case any additional questions may come up,
I
greatly
will.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, I see Mr. Garrett is on with us from University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Mr. Garrett, are you ready?
All right. Hello, folks. Yeah, I can hop on if you're ready.
Yes, sir. We are.
Yeah, let me gonna go ahead and mic up and hope that helps my audio a little bit there. But good afternoon or good morning, rather, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is Alfonso Garrett, and I currently serve as Director of Admissions and Recruitment at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. So definitely excited to be here. We're not too far away from you all, so I'm assuming most of you all are coming from, I guess we call it the Tri-County area out there in that part of Virginia, and I guess as well the Tri-County area around Petersburg, Richmond metro area, etc. So we're probably a good solid 3.5 hour ride from you all. So the easiest way is if you kind of think of like driving to Virginia Beach and you just keep going across that big Chesapeake Bay Bridge and tunnel. And we're right here nestled on the eastern shore of Maryland. So if you're familiar with the eastern shore of Virginia, things like like Chickatee, like the island with the ponies, the eastern shore, like the water areas, things like that. We're not too far from that side of the state of Virginia, so not too terribly far away. Um, let's see, but I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen as well, and this that way I give you a little visual as I kind of and help guide me through my talking points here. All righty. But yeah, so again, University of Maryland Eastern Shore. So we are a state institution here in Maryland. We are a land grant institution as well. So from the very beginning of our founding back in 1886, things like science, technology, and agriculture were always been huge parts of our university's experience. So we have humble beginnings. So back then, way back then, we started off with 2 teachers and 9 students. Fast forward today, we're just around 3,000 students in total, studying everything before, like I mentioned, science, technology, engineering, agriculture, and an additional 40 other majors and programs here at the university. So pretty robust. We are a doctoral research institution, so students can study with us for their bachelor's degrees all the way through master's degrees and several doctoral level programs. So we have some academic, doctoral degrees such as education leadership. We also have things related to healthcare such as a pharmacy degree. We also have a doctor of physical therapy here as well. So a quite interesting collection of majors and programs. We are pretty well touted in a few different areas. We're one of the top 20 HBCUs in the country right now, and we're one of the top performers for social mobility in the United States as well. So pretty exciting things to take place here at our humble institution. And I was mentioning a little bit of the academic stuff, right? So there's over 40 undergrad majors, and then there's an additional 40 plus programs students can study at the master's and doctoral levels at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. And we normally kind of start focusing there because I definitely want, whatever your future aspirations or goals are, want to make sure you can actually accomplish that before you fall in love with this, right? So, like for instance, if you're interested in nursing, we're not the best place to go. But there's a lot of things that we do pretty well in, and a few things we don't do. So definitely take some time to explore our majors and programs and opportunities, and from there kind of dive a little bit deeper. Again, so we have all the traditional liberal arts and sciences programs. Like some of our most popular majors right now are things like criminal justice, business administration, engineering, and then we also have some kind of unique and niche majors. So right now, we're one of 18 colleges in the country, and currently the only historically Black university that has a professional golf association management program. So something's very targeted like that. Also, we're one of the few aviation sciences programs in the area. I don't believe there's an aviation science program in the state of Virginia right now, but in Maryland, we are the only aviation sciences program. So if you want to become a professional pilot or work in like aviation management, kind of the business side of that field, we definitely got things like that covered here as well. Um, and then outside of the traditional classroom spaces, we have a plethora of academic resources and programming here as well. Is our student success services. So, for instance, we have a department on campus called the Center for Access and Academic Success that coordinates a lot of these initiatives. So, whether it's tutoring and mentoring that takes place, mental health counseling, professional career development, things that get you, keep you happy, healthy, and safe is the way I like to phrase it, kind of those big 3 things at the university. So again, so definitely the academic focus, that mission and things of that nature, and all the resources there to help you be successful. And for our higher achieving students who are interested in kind of diving deeper into their educational experiences, we do have the Richard A. Hinton Honors Program, where these students are part of a cohort of academic scholars who, in addition to studying any of our academic majors and programs, they're also doing extra things. So essentially, these students are taking classes at the honors level, so a little bit more challenging. They work a little bit harder, but they get extra resources along with it. So, for instance, there's specialized living spaces on campus, different scholarship opportunities, funding for study abroad opportunities, things like that. So they work a little bit harder, but they get these extra opportunities and resources along the way as well. Um, but outside of the academic realm of things, of course, the university experience as a whole is hugely important for us. I mentioned again, well, our location out here in the Eastern Shore, it is definitely like the true definition of a college town, because UMES is probably the largest employer in the area, the largest source of a lot of outside visitors and things of that nature. So any types of activities, events, festivals, concerts, you name it, are normally kind of centered around our institution in our area. About 15 miles past us is our nearby city is Salisbury, Maryland. So there in Salisbury is where you see like your regular city conveniences, like you have the mall, the movie theaters, kind of all the big chain restaurants, things of that nature. And about 40 minutes away from campus is Ocean City, Maryland, which is kind of like the beach resort city of the state of Maryland, where a lot of people go on vacation and things of that nature. So again, so small town vibes, college town, kind of setting, but nearby we have those other types of resources and things. And if you were to keep going a little bit further north into Maryland, we're about 2 hours away from Baltimore, about 2.5 hours away from Washington, D.C. So pretty decent location where you have those major cities not too far away, within a day's drive, you can shoot there and back. But again, nestled in that nice community we have. Most of our students do come from the state of Maryland because we are a Maryland state school, but we have a pretty good, I guess, collection of students from all around the East Coast, especially right here in the Mid Atlantic. And we have a nice, collection. I would say, as far as out of state students go for us, Delaware and New Jersey are probably our biggest collection of out of state students, followed by Washington D.C. and Virginia. So it's definitely a lot of folks from the general area that you all are coming from that do choose to study with us at UMES. And so it is definitely a residential campus experience. Even our Maryland residents, the average student is coming from 2.5 hours away to live on campus. So they definitely stay on campus again with those activities, events, and what have you. There's 11 residence halls on campus, and we also have two shut down right now, being reserved for COVID, spaces. So we're doing everything we can to keep our campus open and operational, while also meeting the needs to keep ourselves, healthy and what have you in the midst of the COVID pandemic right now. So we do have residential halls, reserved just for people who may happen to become infected or what have you. So we have quarantine space and isolation spaces. Because this year we actually had students on campus for this past year. And I would say it's the vast majority. I'm not sure percentage wise, but I would say it's definitely well over somewhere between 60 to 70% of our students did choose to come back to campus to study in person. The remaining students we were able to provide some type of flexibility, so students could. Sorry, my PowerPoint shut down on me. So we're able to provide some level of flexibility for students to choose to live and study remotely, from campus to finish out their educations. But the vast majority are on campus with us. So we have the 11 residence halls are fully open and operational. Everything from your traditional residence hall where you and another student would share a room and living space. And then there will be, bathrooms on the main floor, study lounges, community spaces like recreation rooms and facilities, things of that nature. And there's also apartment style living on campus as well, where students have their own room in a shared, 3 to 4 bedroom apartment. But this past year with COVID, all of our residence halls were single occupancy. So there was no one sharing a room with another student. Again, trying to add that extra buffer of distancing and things of that nature. Also on campus, there's over 70 student clubs and organizations. It's everything from academic groups, honor societies, special interest groups, clubs, organizations, the club sports and organizations, as well as fraternities and sororities on campus, as well as fellowship organizations. So a lot of our day-to-day activities and campus culture and experiences really kind of lie within those student clubs organizations, because based off their respective missions and activities, they're always coordinating different events and programming all throughout campus, all throughout the year. But some of the other amenities of campus, of course, we have a large swimming pool and a recreation facility. We even have a bowling alley on campus, game room, arcades. There's a movie theater that shows movies. It may not be the movie that's in the theater like right now, but it's like the one that was just there. But it's like free movies and things like that that take place on campus. And even little random things like massage chairs. Like at first, when I found out UMS had massage chairs, I thought it was pretty weird. But let me tell you, it's like so popular. Like I don't know, there's something about being able to sit in the chair and like it really works. Like it helps relieve stress and things of that nature. So So even little amenities like that, we do our best to make sure, again, the students are happy, healthy, safety, and as well as performing well here at the university. Um, and again, so a lot of that experiential things are around student clubs, organizations, and things that students bring to the table. So oftentimes students will ask, like, what is there to do with that campus? It's a small town, I'm not quite sure, I'm from the city or what have you, right? And it's like literally everything students are doing at home right now with their friends, they're doing those same things here, except, it's just going to be through that lens of a majority of students your age, because most of our students identify as that traditional college age student, that 18 to 20-year-old age students are our average student demographic. And again, of course, we also are historically Black university and a majority Black university as well. So a lot of people with shared lived experiences, things like that, are coming to our areas. But another great, exciting part of our campus culture has been athletics. Now, this has been much different this past year in COVID because we haven't had our sports teams and things like that performing this past year. But they're still active and engaged. They're involved in club. They're involved all throughout campus. You'll see them in classes. If you're a student athlete yourself, you'll be fully immersed in the campus community. If you're not a student athlete, again, you'll see, get that overall part of experience. But we are NCAA Division I for sports, and we compete in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. So like those you all obviously in Virginia, like Norfolk State is like our big Virginia rival right now, for instance. And I guess it props to Norfolk State, in NCAA tournament right now. But again, so athletics are definitely a big part of our experience here as well. And as you can see, we got a pretty wide variety of sports. And I normally kind of go around and normally joking like, can people guess what our winningest sports teams are? And then but if people are often shocked to find out our women's bowling team actually has the most national championships. I think right now sitting with 5 national championships. So it's pretty exciting. So again, whether it's a spectator sport like basketball or if it's something, more, a particular like bowling or golf, our students, our athletes are definitely active, engaged out there, all throughout the country, representing our institution and our teams. Now, when it comes to financing and affordability, we think we do a pretty good job of providing a quality educational experience at an affordable cost. We do our best to make it as affordable as possible. So, like for our out-of-state students right now, you're looking at a ballpark of $29,000, and that's a full-time student housing, dining, as well as a meal plan on campus, right? So that's kind of that big ballpark price. Our average aid award for out-of-state students right now is just around $19,000 for the year, and that can be combining everything from merit-based, need-based aid opportunities. So, for instance, in the Office of Admissions, we offer a grant, just based off your academic performance. And typically for us, most students with a 2.8 or higher grade point average typically qualify for some level of academic merit grant from us, ranging from $1,000 to $6,000. That's just upfront based off your academic performance, based off of how we evaluate your application and admissions process. But beyond that, the Office of Student Financial Aid also takes into consideration everything about your profile, everything from your academic background, the major you want to pursue, your family's financial information, etc., to come up with a total aid package. So, for instance, let's say, for instance, you're interested in studying something in the School of Agriculture and Natural Sciences. So, whether it's something like biochemistry or pre-veterinary studies or whatever the case may be, there's different special funding by being an HBCU and being a land grant school. There's different funding opportunities just for that the federal government gives us to provide us as our status of being a land grant. So right now, for instance, one of the best academic scholarships we have to offer is our UMES land grant scholarship. So for instance, students in those agriculture majors can qualify with a minimum of a 3.0 high school GPA, can qualify for up to $8,000 a year just for majoring in one of those majors within the School of Agriculture and Natural Sciences, right? Then on the flip side, in the School of Business and Technology, computer science has funding just for students interested in computer science. So sometimes it's broad, generic aid the university provides you, and sometimes it's niche and categorized based off your potential major of interest and other characteristics. And of course, I mentioned before NCAA Division I athletics, that's another funding source, etc. So there's a lot of different opportunities. The big thing when it comes to aid, I always say make sure you're, of course, you're applying for admissions and getting admitted, but never forget the free application for federal student aid, and also check our website to see if those other aid opportunities based off particular majors and programs and other interests you might have. But definitely, again, we do the best we can to be as affordable as possible in our process. So when it comes time to actually being evaluated for admissions, again, we're looking for ways to say yes, trying to make sure if we got the resources to make you successful, then we want to extend an offer of admissions to you. We definitely want, again, to provide that quality education experience to all people. So there's 3 ways students can apply for admissions right now. We're members of the Common Application. So we're members of the Common Black College application, and we also have our own specific UMES application. So whichever application platform is easiest for you to apply for admissions is the one we want you to choose. So for instance, in the common application, for instance, I'm gonna pick on Virginia because y'all are most y'all are in Virginia, right? So like if you're gonna apply to DCU, DCU is on the common application, UMES is on the common application. So if you're already applying to that school, it's easy to go ahead and drop in an application to us as well. So that might be your best option. Or say for instance, I'm interested in Norfolk State, Virginia State. Okay, they're on the common black college application, and so are we. So in that case, it's easier for you to do the common black college application and just tag UMES along with it. Or sometimes you're like, you know what? I'm just going to apply directly to you, UMES. I want to do your application. So again, whichever one is easier for you, we don't have a preference. We just have those options out there for you based off your needs. So in the application, it's going to ask you basic stuff: your name, address, high school, activities you've been involved in. If you're interested in providing an essay, things like that to give us more information about you, you're more than welcome to do that. It's not a requirement for us. But when we're looking at your application, again, looking for ways to say yes, we're going to take in a variety of factors: your grade point average, your course rigor. Like, are you a straight A student, but you're in all the easy classes? Or maybe you do have C's, maybe even a D or something like that here or there, but you're taking advanced placement classes, dual enrollment classes. Obviously, the tougher the class, we understand, no GPA, no two GPAs are the same because students take different types of classes. So we're looking at things like that. Or even if ninth grade was a bad year, but you're killing it in 11th and 12th grade, we're going to look at your trend and performance as well. So all these different things we're going to take in consideration. But overall, I can say typically a student with a college prep curriculum, taking that, whatever your school calls that tough stuff, honors, advanced, AP, dual enrollment, you're taking a mixture of those types of things, and you're, again, a pretty solid B student, maybe even a BC type of student, then we're definitely interested in you applying for admissions. Because again, if we have the resources here, we think we can make you successful, we definitely want to extend that offer of admissions to you. Now, students who are interested in the honors program, I identify those being high achievers. So honors consideration starts at a 3.3 unweighted GPA. If you have a 3.3 unweighted grade point average, then I definitely want you to select the box in our application that says I'm interested in university honors. In that case, they do require you to write an essay to explain why you're interested in the honors program. Because again, it's an academic group, so there's a little few extra requirements. Everyone that has that 3.3 isn't guaranteed honors. It just means you can be considered for the honors program. Because again, that is a competitive process, and the honors committee will evaluate your credentials at that point to select if you're admissible to the honors program. All right. Now, for students who are going to apply to us not directly out of high school, but maybe you're going to go to a community college first or go to another university and decide you want to switch things, we do actively recruit transfer students as well. And transfer students are essentially students who, after graduating high school, then attend another college university and earn more than 12 credit hours, which is like a full-time student schedule for one semester. In that case, the students can apply on our common application or our UMES application. And essentially, it's much easier at that point. It's much more direct, not easy. Since you're at the college level already, if you're performing well, meeting minimum standards like a 2.0 grade point average in college coursework, then it's a pretty straightforward process. We know you excelled at college already, so we're able to extend offers of admission to students who have at least 30 credits of college coursework and a 2.0 or higher grade point average at that point in time. Again, you've already kind of shown you're able to handle the college level of rigor. But again, that's pretty much it in a nutshell for me with the kind of general generic comments. Like I said, again, I'm definitely here for questions and things of that nature. But the main thing to remember is UMES. We're a pretty solid institution, one of the top 20 HBCUs. Since our founding, we've been pretty solid in science, technology, agriculture, things of that nature. But we do incorporate liberal arts sciences and programs, doctoral level with research. So we do have those graduate professional programs here as well. And again, we're not too terribly far away. Again, I think it takes me about 3.5 hours to get to kind of right there. I would say just there south of Richmond is probably a solid 3.5 hours for us to get to. So not too far away from most of you all, I'd imagine. So definitely, I would say definitely worth the consideration, some further exploration. If you want to learn more about us, definitely check out our website. I'll drop some links in the chat as well. But I definitely I'm very appreciative of being here with you all today, and definitely I'm happy to be a resource to you all. So with that, I'll hand it back over to you, Mr. Johnson.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have to tell you, I'm a little partial to UMES. My mother is an alum of UMES. My father is a former professor at UMES. Both of my neighbors where I grew up are alums of UMES, and both of them are in the Hall of Fame at UMES. So we have hawks all around us here on the Eastern Shore of Virginia. So having said that, one of the things I wanted to talk about, because I know we have a couple of gentlemen that are on here that play baseball. If you could, can you kind of give a little insight on your baseball program? What opportunities are available for baseball at UMES?
Let's see. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it specifically offhand, but I do know we have a pretty good relationship with those coaches because, interestingly enough, our baseball coaches are former high school counselors. So they're very into the education aspect of things. So that's definitely one of the teams where I know this is a coach that keeps students' best interest in mind because they do have that advanced education and counseling background. So I really like that and my relationships with them. But I would say again, we're NCAA Division One, so it definitely is a recruitment process. I think right now NCAA is not allowing them to proactively recruit until after May. I'm not exactly sure, so you can always inquire and ask questions. But right now, I know pretty much it's been kind of like they can't really do too much. So like if you're interested in visiting campus, and we can definitely show you facilities and things like that through the admissions offices, like we would do with any potential student. But as far as that legit recruitment process, I think it's kind of stalled, and it has a lot to do with NCAA and COVID restrictions and things of that nature. But um, but I do know there's a solid group of guys. I do know they recruit pretty heavily all around. So I've seen students. I want to say I'm blanking on it now. Somebody from Virginia that I met that came this past year. But I would say it's definitely one of those teams where, as a student athlete, I definitely feel comfortable with the coaches having your best intentions in mind, and I do know that um, they do again like we're in the MEAC, so those collection of schools like majority of other Division One level HBCUs are kind of in the Mid Eastern Athletic Conference. Like I mentioned, I joked about Norfolk State a few minutes ago. But again, I don't have a whole lot of details about it.
Okay, Alex, do you have any questions you want to ask him as far as baseball is concerned?
No, sir, I don't have any questions. He pretty much answered everything that I would have a question about.
Okay. Um, my other question that I wanted to ask is about your organizations that are on campus. I know a lot of colleges, they have like pre-vet societies, pre-med societies. What type of programs leading into professional careers do you all have on campus that can assist our students furthering their career after graduation?
Yeah, definitely. So I would say, excuse me. I say before the student organization level, I'll say as far as the institution itself, we do have a Center for Career Professional Development on campus, and they do everything, and that's an administrative office. So they do everything from helping you find a part-time job as a current student to helping you write your resume, like all that from the very beginning to the end, even hosting job fairs and things on campus. Like this upcoming week, we're actually having some education job fairs. So students who are interested in becoming teachers, they're doing it's virtual, of course, right now, but we're teaming up with Salisbury University. So essentially, we're the two big universities on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. So we're teaming up together. So school districts from all around. I'm not sure about Virginia offhand, but I know several different districts from different states are going to come to recruit students from these two universities next week, coming virtually, but to recruit students to specifically apply to be educators in their respective districts. So like that's just one example. They'll host things like that for different job industries and things of that nature. So that's definitely the number one resource I would say for first and foremost that office is there. But beyond that, essentially every major discipline does have a student organization of some type. So for instance, like accounting, it's like I want to become an accountant, whether it's you want to be a certified public accountant or just want to work in business industry in the fields. There's the Association of Black Accountants, right? There's also the National Society of Blacks in Engineering. So like there's organizations that are geared towards various academic and career disciplines on campus. And then pretty much all the main ones have something of that effect. And they're normally affiliates of a national group, like with NSBE, the National Society of Black Engineers. Pretty much any university that has Black students that are engineers has a chapter of that, almost to the most part. So it's a great networking opportunity to connect with people who are looking for people who want to be engineers and employers. And they know it's a great source, and there's developmental opportunities with that. And speaking of engineering offhand, being in our location, we're actually pretty great because again, we're near those major cities and things where whether it's government agencies or those big major towns, and even out here in the Eastern Shore, we do have like the NASA station out here in Wallops Island, Virginia. So there's a lot of natural partnerships, organizations like that. Um, but I would also say to you reference like pre-vet, for instance, we have a whole pre-veterinary concentration and organization with them. So it's called Manners. It's minorities in agricultural and natural sciences and agricultural, natural resources, and related sciences. It's called Manners. And it really is, again, another professional development opportunity of students from a collection of majors that are very similar. But an organization such as that also has like that pre-veterinary concentration where they will have the university vet that's actually their co-advisor. And she's there to help, from veterinary school application submission, things of that nature, as well as bringing different folks to campus. So like there's an event recently where they had the vet school from Purdue University in Indiana came out and actually kind of helped prep students on what are they looking for in veterinary school applicants. So again, so there's a wide variety of those organizations. Some of them at the student level, and then others are just at the university level as well.
Okay. Any of the students have any questions? Any parents?
Yeah, yes, I had a question in regard to. I noticed the football pro. There was no football program.
That is correct. So yeah, so unfortunately, UMES used to have a great football team, but it was disbanded. I believe in the early '80s, if I'm not mistaken. So currently, we do not have a collegiate football team. That's correct.
So when do you all celebrate your homecoming?
Oh, great question. So traditionally, homecoming has been celebrated around February, like kind of mid to late February, and it's centered around like basketball. Men's and women's basketball is kind of like the featured athletic event of our homecomings. But this past year, um, it was a plan to switch it back to being a traditional like November time frame. Men's and women's basketball still was going to be like kind of the center sport, I guess. However, with COVID, the decision happened the same year COVID happened, so we didn't have that November or homecoming as we anticipated. However, traditionally it was in February, but going forward it should be in November once we are able to do things as normal again.
Okay. Any other questions, parents, students? All right. So again, I always ask this question because I know we're in such a global society now. Your study abroad programs, what do you all offer as far as study abroad?
Yes, so on campus we have an office called the Center for International Education. In that office, they coordinate our study abroad program as well as provide resources to international students who are studying on campus with us. Um, so everything's been suspended, given COVID right now. So we don't have any current students studying abroad at the moment. However, that office is the one that coordinates it. So essentially, there's a collection of universities throughout the world where we would regularly send students to. Typically, it's things like in Europe, the Caribbean, and South America. So there's a few different places that we send students to based off like their respective interests. But it really is kind of catered to what the student wants to do and how long they want to go away. The best bang for the buck is to go away for a full semester. Because at that point, you're charged the same tuition and fees as if you're studying with us in Princess Anne, Maryland, but you're at that other country. You're in Spain or wherever the case may be. Um, some other study abroad opportunities are shorter, like during like the winter break or the summer break, you may go away for like 1 to 2 weeks with a faculty member to do like a project. Like I don't know, like an agriculture team might go to somewhere like I can't think of a good example off the top of my head. We haven't done one this past year, but they may go to a different country to study how their agricultural industry works or something of that nature, and like it's like a 2 week project or something. They come back. So it's combinations of like those long semester abroad terms as well as those shorter term trips. But there are different partnerships throughout the world where essentially we have those agreements with the university where we kind of basically we have that arrangement. The student pays us and we make the arrangements for them to go to the other institution. Um, I'm not sure how many of our students do it. I want to say it's probably, uh, I don't want to make anything up. I want to say it's probably somewhere between like probably around 5 to 10% maybe do study abroad. It's not hugely popular across university, but certain majors tend to have a more interest than others to do it. Like our sequential arts program, for instance, a lot of those students are interested in like, graphic novels, comic design, things of that nature. So like it's common for those types of students to go places like Japan, where like that industry is like real booming. So it just really depends on the student's interest. We definitely have those resources.
So how significant do you think that is as far as study abroad, or is it major specific?
I would say it really is a situation where anyone can do it. It's one of those things where with your academic advisor, you would tell them like I intend to study abroad. So say for instance, like kind of like high school, right? You know that you have to take 4 years of English and math and all those things. So at the university level, you obviously have a lot more freedom. So it's kind of like I know I want to study abroad next year. So your academic advisor will know what classes to advise you to take now, so that you have space in your schedule, so that you're not doing anything extra while you study abroad. Like the goal is to make it fit your schedule as best as possible. So it's not necessarily major specific, like only certain majors can go, but it's just certain programs are more conducive to certain majors. Um, I'm trying to think like I mentioned like those 2 week trips or something like that. Say it's a science class is going to go on that trip, like it's a biology class, then naturally, if I'm someone that's studying something like criminology, I don't have a lot of science I have to take. So I would want to make sure I don't take science on campus so I can fit that study abroad science into my schedule. So like they work with you that way. When I say it's individual catered, hope that helps understand. Like they're really trying to find the best fit program to meet your needs. I mean, of course, if you're paying money, we'll let you go wherever you want to go. But but the goal is to make it fit so that it makes sense for you, so you're not double paying unnecessarily.
So if I'm a student that's considering UMES, or if I'm a parent looking at UMES, what would you say would be a major that the University of Maryland specializes, quote unquote, in?
I would say definitely something in the natural sciences or like one of those healthcare related type fields. So like I said, like in the School of Agriculture and Natural Sciences, to give you an idea of these majors. So so you have like general agriculture, we have pre-veterinary studies and things like that. You also have in that school biology. Biology is one of the most popular majors. You also have biochemistry, chemistry, and then a major called human development. I'm sorry, human ecology. And within human ecology, that's everything from fashion merchandising, that's child development, etc. So anything within that school is pretty popular because again, we were founded agricultural, in science technology stuff from the very beginning. And then I would also say, you think of these other kind of in-demand fields like engineering, things like that. That's not in the School of Agriculture, but we're one of the few schools in Maryland that does offer engineering. So whether it's mechanical, aerospace, etc., those are pretty solid as well. I mentioned aviation before. Now beyond that, we do have things like I told you. We have the pharmacy program, so you can actually graduate in 5 years with your doctorate in pharmacy degree. It's like from start to finish, freshman to doctorate in pharmacy in 5 years. It's an accelerated. Sorry, 6 years. It's an accelerated program. So like things like that are pretty special for us too, because it's the only place in Maryland that you can get done that quickly in a program like that.
Okay. Now, speaking on that, you all, it's my understanding you have a very good physical therapy program. How does that program work from freshman year through getting your doctorate as far as physical therapy is concerned?
Yeah, so yeah, so it's two-stage process. So most of those students interested in pursuing the doctorate of physical therapy, it's not a requirement, but what you normally see happen for us is they choose to major in exercise science or kinesiology, because that those undergraduate majors by default incorporate a lot of the same lower level classes. Obviously, they're gonna have a foundation in science like biology, natural sciences like that. But those undergraduate programs, instead of just dissecting frogs and learning about science, you're actually taking classes where you're learning more about humans and muscles and movements and things like that. Like their labs are geared towards the human condition and things of that nature. Now, obviously, everyone in those majors, their goal isn't to be a physical therapist necessarily, but that major fits very closely to that. Normally most people study something in that area, and then when it comes like so they have to they'll do the full 4 years and graduate their bachelor of science in a major such as that. Then they'll apply to the doctoral program at the next stage. And it is a competitive process again. It's not like pharmacy where it's accelerated, but it is all there, but it's not accelerated like pharmacy is for us. So it is an additional 3 years after the bachelor's degree for that program. Um, but at that level, it's a lot of once you get that first year out the way, it's a lot of clinical level classes at that point. Like they're actually studying whether at the hospital or in a practicing physical therapist office somewhere to go along with their academic programs. But it is pretty popular. The doctoral level is very competitive because it's hard work to become a doctor of physical therapist, doctor of physical therapy. But we do have again that foundational level program, the pre advising you get as an undergraduate student, whether it's hopefully our physical therapy program or another school's. The goal is to prepare you so you have that option to go either way.
Okay. Now your engineering fields, I heard you mention three different variations of engineering majors. Could you kind of go through those a little more in detail for us?
Yes. All right. And I'm going to cheat to make sure I don't miss one out for you.
Okay,
But,
that's fine.
so yeah, let's see here. Yeah, so the department is called it's the Department of Engineering and Aviation Sciences. So that's it's all housed together. So aviation science is its own major. It's not engineering, but it's in the same department because it's kind of closely related. And that program is geared towards professional pilots, like you want to become a licensed pilot upon graduation, or aviation management, like I mentioned. But when it comes to the engineering side specifically, it's a general engineering degree. It is ABET accredited, and I think, and I'm blanking, but the big deal with ABET accreditation is like the American something or other Society of Engineering Technology. I don't know the acronym exactly, but the big deal with going to a program that has that special accreditation, it means we meet a higher standard in engineering education that the industry likes and approves of. But the specializations is actually four specializations. We have an aerospace, we have an aerospace specialization, computer engineering specialization, electrical engineering specialization, as well as mechanical. So those are four tracks to choose from. And the first year, they all take very similar coursework. Obviously, we have to make sure you're math ready. So, engineering, aside from like mathematics, engineers typically take a high level of math compared to other majors on campus. So obviously, we have to make sure their first year will have you students are getting math ready, get to the appropriate level of calculus. They'll get their introductory science coursework out the way. And of course, every university is going to take history and English and all that other stuff, right? To make you well rounded. But the main thing that first year is common introductory engineering courses, get you math ready, what have you. Then that second year, you kind of dive a little bit, you start diverging your pathway a little bit to start taking courses that are specializing in your respective discipline within engineering. So, so obviously at the base level, there's a lot of similarity, but like, as you can imagine, so for instance, I'm looking at the curriculum now. So like first semester, everyone's taking a chemistry class, intro to engineering, English course, and as well as a modern engineering design class that gets them introduced to the fields of engineering. But then when they get to that second year, you'll see students are then starting to take, the aerospace students are going to start taking things related to that field, mechanical into their field. So first year is kind of just being a basic general engineer, basically, is what I'm trying to say. In the second year, you get a little bit more specialized into your respective discipline.
All right. Any questions from the students or parents?
If y'all think of anything, definitely feel free to reach out. I'm going to type in my email at the in the chat below as well. Definitely feel free to reach out. Again, we're open, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30 is our regular office hours. We also open for campus tours right now. We have COVID restrictions, so you got to get your temperature checked and symptoms checked and all those types of things. Wear masks, the whole 9 yards. But we are offering campus tours. We limit them to 10 people per tour. So we can make sure we distance and all that type of stuff as we go around campus. But definitely feel free to come check us out. The weather's starting to get a little bit warmer. It'll be a great time to come out. Like I said, once you get through Virginia Beach, it's a pretty easy drive, I would say, because on the Eastern Shore, we never have traffic.
Brother Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. And I've got to log off in a few minutes here. I have some errands I need to run, but I just always want to say how much I appreciate these college tours, these virtual tours. It's just an outstanding event, and I thank you, brothers and parents and Kappa Leaguers who are logged on to hear this valuable information. But I just want to say that I have a personal attachment to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. My sister graduated from there and worked in the office of the president as the executive administrator for over 23 years. My second cousin, Dr. Holden, was the vice president of student affairs and finances for over 30 years. And I'm from the Eastern Shore. So I have a personal affinity for the University of Maryland Eastern Shore and the outstanding work that it does. And I just wanted to express my heartfelt gratitude for all the work that you brothers and everyone who's logged on here is putting into our young men. So I really do appreciate it. And I have to log off, but you all have a great day. Brother Johnson, I'll talk to you later, but it's always a pleasure. All right.
It's just funny how small the world is, right?
Yeah, it is. 6 degrees of separation. That's right.
Yes,
okay,
indeed.
you guys have a great day.
All right.
All right.
All right, Mr. Garrett, I thank you. Our representative from Fisk, I don't think they're going to be coming on. So our next guest up will be Ms. Haskell, and she's not scheduled to come on until 11:30. So what I want to do is I want to open up this time now for our young men and the parents to ask any questions that you all have for Mr. Singletary, Mr. Garrett, during this time frame that we have. Just know that no question is a stupid question. I always tell people that if it's something that's in your mind that you're thinking, ask the question, because that's the only way you're going to get the answers to it. All right.
Yeah. So I have a question. So
Go ahead.
yes, so what years of school is typically the members of the Kappa League are right now?
So our particular program in Petersburg, we go from 6th grade through 12th grade. A lot of the Kappa League programs are 9th grade through 12th grade. And our thing is we try to make sure with our program, anytime we're having anything dealing with college or education, we open it up to our entire province as well as nationally. So I'll always send information out to all the chapters that we have. And we have 175 Kappa League chapters across the country. And in our province, which is Virginia, Maryland, DC, and Bermuda, we have 33 chapters. So it's nothing for us right now. I've been looking at the questions on the different various platforms that is being posted on to see what questions are coming through. So that's where some of the questions that I'm asking you, that's where they're coming from, is what I'm looking at all across the board. But just like Mr. Fletcher said, I have a strong affinity for University of Maryland Eastern Shore. My father retired probably 12 years ago as an art professor there. And Mr. Ernest Satchel is also one of our cousins who's a professor there. So I'm going to ask Landon, Jamal, Jamir, any questions from you guys?
Negative.
No.
No, sir.
Well, speaking of Jamir, so that takes me to Jamir. You're always my point of reference when it comes to ROTC, to always remind me about that. How about your ROTC programs, Mr. Garrett, at UMES?
Yeah, so UMES currently does not offer ROTC, unfortunately. So yes, we couldn't really help in that way. I will say that I think there is recruitment. I think like I know the Coast Guard recruits regularly for us for their officer candidate school, but so obviously there's no such thing as Coast Guard RTC, but like we don't have RTC, but I would say that's who we're getting the most attention from kind of proactively right now to recruit our graduates is the Coast Guard. But obviously, whether it's us or Clinton or whoever, the one thing I always like to mention, because I'm an Army veteran, so I always got to talk a little bit about it. So RTC is great. So if you want RTC, definitely do it, right? But say for instance, everything else seems perfect, but they don't have RTC. Always remember the respective services also have officer candidate school. So a person with an earned bachelor's degree can still go talk to a recruiter and be like, look, I got a degree. I want to be an officer. And their job is to connect you to the right person. They may not say it right out all the time, right? But that's one thing also keep in your back pocket that because even with officer candidate school, RTC is a great option to get, to get the training up front in advance, part time. Like I said, it's called reserve officer training, right? So it's a great way to get it up front, but also remember that OCS on the back end. At that point, if you're eligible for OCS, whatever respective branch you go through, because each branch has OCS. At that point, it's full time training. So they're going to send you to like, okay, you signed the dotted line. They'll send you off the training for however many weeks that their respective branch does training, and it'd be like your full time job is to learn how to be an officer. So just always know that that's always an option out there too. I would say. And they also get benefits. Oftentimes they do get like student loan repayment and things of that nature. Where I think in a perfect world, we all want our stuff free up front, right? So RTC, if you are interested in RTC, and even if it's not end up being somewhere like us or Clinton, right? Again, if you're looking at RTC, remember there's also the ROTC scholarship process. That normally starts like super early, like September of your senior year of high school early, like that early, right? So like you'll actually apply to the Department of Air Force, the Department of Army, the Department of Navy, and so on. Like go to airforce.com, ROTC scholarship, and that branch will then it's a big application. You have to go to the doctor, get physicals and all that type of stuff. But that branch is going to let you know, yes, Alfonso, Jameer, whoever, right? You will qualify for this scholarship. What school do you want to go to? You're like, oh, well, I want to go to whoever has RTC. Like I think Norfolk State. I keep picking on them. I think Norfolk State, Virginia State have RTC off the top of my head, right? So like, I want to go to one of these two schools. Then the Air Force will say, yes, you can take our scholarship to go to that college. And then the university loves it because it's like we got a student who's a full pay student. We don't have to give them any financial aid. Yay, the university loves you. But then you love it because the military's paying for it, right? And in addition, with an ROTC scholarship, not only are they paying for your education at that point, but you also get a monthly stipend. So like you're getting a paycheck because you're officially an officer in training for the next 4 years. So if you're interested in ROTC, always look for the ROTC scholarship directly from the military as well. And I guess that's my little mini military Army veteran soapbox.
That's good information. I didn't know that one. Okay.
Yeah, and I think kind of while I'm on that soapbox, oftentimes a lot of us don't know, but our gut reaction is to ask the university for all the financial aid in the world. I know Mr. Singletary probably nod his head now. Like, but all those outside people got money to give you too. So if you're able to get like whether it's the RTC for instance, or just say, I don't know, Kappa League probably offers scholarships, right? Don't forget to ask all those people for money and bring it with you. Because sometimes folks will think, well, the university likes me, they're gonna give me a bunch of money. I love you to death. I probably can't give you a full ride, right? So anything you can bring with you also helps. So again, whether it's that ROTC stuff that is a little bit involved or just regular stuff too. I can't, harp on that enough.
And if I can add to that, as a former school counselor, also work with your school counselors because they should have a list of scholarships that you could apply for. And if you are looking for ROTC in college, then you probably are part of a ROTC program in high school. So work with your teachers and the ROTC program in high school so they can connect you with proper scholarship opportunities also.
So let me ask you all this question. I'm putting myself in the shoes of an 11th grader or 12th grader. What would your best advice be getting ready to prepare myself to go to college as an 11th grader and then as a 12th grader? And either one of you all can take that question, Mr. Singleton or Mr. Garrett.
I mean, I guess it's a couple parts. I mean, it's the part of getting ready to apply to college, like knowing and understanding you got these options. So like right now, this is part of that process, like getting exposed, right? So like I didn't know all that information about Clinton College myself until today, right? So like now I know in the back of my head, oh, there's a school in South Carolina that it seems very affordable. Like so in the back of my mind, I know that right now, right? So like just getting the general exposure. So being a part of organizations like Kappa League, I think is the big first step to get that exposure. But in addition, just understanding there is a lot of options out there, I think is the first step. And then beyond that, um, I would say, as far as the actual like, what does it take to be successful at school? I think it's really taking time to think and talk with your family about what are my needs exactly. Like, what's my future goal? Like, do I want to be a pilot? Yes. Okay. So I learned today UMES has a pilot program. Okay, who does have a pilot? Like again, knowing that information you have and knowing you have the goal set. They're like talk about financial aid. That's a huge one, obviously, for a lot of folks, and kind of get a good understanding like what can we realistically pay? Like, can my family pay for anything? Can they pay for a little bit? Can they pay for all of it? Like, even just understanding that part, like having a realistic expectation of what you really should be looking for. I think those are probably the big first steps. I think, and I'm a cheat and let Mr. Sinclair follow.
And I can add to that. I think one of the big steps as a junior or senior going into college, finding a school that feels like family, finding a school that you can see yourself matriculating through. You can feel yourself growing and stretching because that's what our HBCUs do. We stretch students and we create leaders. And so, as a junior or a senior going into college, you want to do your research, like Mr. Garrett said, do your research, find what schools have your major. And then I would suggest narrowing that information down by possibly doing some virtual tours because of the pandemic, or reaching out to admissions or recruiters to see if they are providing on-campus tours so you can get a feel for the institution. And then once you are able to do those type of tours and make those connections, get a sense of home. If you feel like this is the institution for me, then you are well on your way to doing what you need to do. But you don't want to kind of throw your arrow out in the dark and you just pop up on the campus. And when you get there, you're like, this is not what I anticipated, or it's not what I expected. And so you want to really get a feel for the institution. So narrow down to maybe your top 5 that have your major, and then connect with those institutions to see if of those top 5, your top 2 or 3, and then reach out to them to see if that campus is something that you want to be a part of, if they have the extracurricular activities that you're looking for, if they have the opportunities for study abroad, see what opportunities those schools give you. And maybe some schools are too large. You want to be a smaller environment. Just do your research on the schools itself to see what school fits you as a person, fits your character, and when you can see yourself growing and becoming who you are to be. So doing that extra point of research on the individual school itself to see if you are a good fit or if that school is a good fit for you.
Okay. My next question is summer bridge programs. I know several universities, they have summer bridge programs that allows an incoming freshman to get an experience. And some of them are, if some students are academically challenged coming into their freshman year. Do either of your institutions offer that? And if so, how does that program look in your respective institutions?
So at Clinton, we are in the process of providing a summer bridge program. We have not unrolled it yet for students, but in essence, our summer bridge, it allows students to come on campus before the beginning of the semester, over the summer, of course, And we have to see what it would look like with the pandemic, if we are able to offer that virtually or if it's going to be on campus. But in essence, a few years ago, we sent information out for an on-campus summer bridge program where students will come on campus, stay in one of our residence halls. They would have a meal plan, and they would have the option of earning up to 9 credits prior to the beginning of their freshman semester. That way, once they started as a true freshman, that summer bridge program already earned them 9 credits that count toward their freshman year. At that particular year, the program was at no cost to the students. They came on campus and they stayed in one of the dorms. We provided meal plan, and they had a rigorous schedule of activities throughout the week. So they had a mixture of courses, character building, campus initiatives. And so they had a whole experience of getting acclimated with the campus prior to the beginning of the semester. This year, we are still in communication with some partners to see how that summer bridge will look because of the pandemic. But we are in the process of discussing our summer bridge for the upcoming school year.
And then I'll give you a different spin on summer bridge. And this is a good question too, because we use a lot of the same terminologies at universities, but they can still mean different things. So what we call summer bridge is actually a program for students who may not have been as academically prepared for admission. So say for instance, after reviewing your credentials, we're not able to extend an offer of admission. We then share your information, and we let you know this. We share your information with our Center for Access and Academic Success to let them know that this is a student that we weren't unable to offer admissions outright. However, someone worth considering. Then, based off their internal criteria, they may then extend an offer of admission to the summer bridge program. We call it summer bridge, but essentially it's in the past it was a 4-week on-campus residential experience where they took classes, but unlike Clinton, they weren't credit-bearing classes. It was more kind of like remedial coursework. And upon successful completion of that summer bridge program, they were then able to offer extended offers of full admission at the conclusion, and they can start that next semester like regular first-time students with their counterparts. So it was a way of earning admission after the fact. Now this year with COVID, last year that program had to be converted to be fully online. It was okay. It wasn't ideal for us. So this year, given our new COVID requirements and restrictions, the lessons we've learned in that process, they're actually going to modify to make it a hybrid, where it's going to start with a 4-day on-campus experience, and then it will be followed by a 4-week virtual experience. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to look. I haven't seen that quite yet in person, but that's the plan going forward. But similarly, so if we're unable to offer you admissions outright the first go around, we'll tell you, it's not like a no. It's not a no. It's like a not right now type of no. So come up with a plan of action to get you here, whether it's going to another college, like a community college, and getting prepared that way, or potentially going through that summer bridge. But it's a program to help ramp you up academically to assure that you can be successful with us once you're admitted. And traditionally speaking, we've taken anywhere between 50 to 100 students through that program, and compare that to our general incoming freshman body, about 500 people. So it's a decent amount of students that we do allow that opportunity to.
Okay. All right. Another question that came up was work study. How does your work study program work, and do you all also offer on-campus jobs outside of work study?
Yep. So so students, again, to kind of clarify the terminology. So when people say work study, typically they're talking about a financial aid outcome. So the federal government has this program. It's called federal work study, which essentially it's called self-help aid. It's like getting an hourly wage. You work the hours, you earn the paycheck, and then you get the money that way, instead of opposed to like a loan or a grant you get up front. So it's essentially an hourly allotment for money on campus. So students who qualify for federal work study typically work in offices on campus. Whether it's like we have some in our admissions office, financial aid, athletics, like all over campus. It's typically an office type of job where students are working a set amount of hours per week to earn a paycheck. And again, the type of work really varies on what they're getting, but it's essentially like applying for a job, a part-time job. and it's just you indicate I qualify for federal work study. Because on my side, that means I know how you're going to get paid. And kind of similar to that, we do have hourly positions in kind of the same places, except the application will say I do not qualify for work study. So essentially, to us, it's what pot of money do you come out? Are you coming out of my regular wage hours, or are you coming out of my work study hours? So for the student, it's essentially the same thing. I'm applying for a job to work on campus.
And that looks the same for Clinton, the federal work study program. Typically, our students meet with our director of financial aid to fill out that application, and she will then be able to let them know if they qualify for the federal work study program. And then we offer students to interview for positions in admissions, financial aid, student support services, and different things like that. We also have a partnership with one of our community centers just up the street from our institution, and there is a tutoring program that is sponsored there, and we're able to have some of our students complete work study with that tutoring center. So it looks the same for our institution because it is a federal program. So it has to look similar in all aspects that qualify.
Okay, I have one other question on here in reference to internships. Do you all actively assist students in acquiring internships, and are internships a requirement for graduation?
So at Clinton, internships are not required for graduation, but we do provide internships for our students. And I don't have the information in front of me. That this is mostly handled by our Office of Student Services, Student Affairs. But we just received a partnership where students can qualify for internships out, of course, outside the institution, and those are paid internships. And they're broken up between a sophomore, junior, and senior, I believe. And the cost that you will get paid, your hourly wage, is based on your classification. So a senior student will get paid more than a freshman or sophomore student. So we do offer internship. This is a new program that we just started this year, but we're also looking at in our student support services department, having internships closely related to what our majors are. And our cabinet and our board of trustees with the president, we are in the process of developing our work college. So we are in the process of creating the work college as well as the internship platform and protocol for all of our students. So after they complete their courses, they'll be able to transition hopefully into a secure job.
And I mentioned earlier when I was chatting about our center for tongue tied, Center for Career Development, Career and Professional Development. That office is one, like I said, that helps with job placement and all those types of things. And internships are part of that, operations that they do there. So like just like they'll bring employers to campus to look for full-time people, they'll also bring companies to campus looking for interns. Now, we don't have a overall requirement at the university for internships. However, the nature of some of our majors do require it. So, for instance, the Professional Golf Association Management Program, it's a PGA standard that they must do an internship. And I'm blanking on how long, but it's a long one. It's like over 1,000 hours they must complete. And that's going to be an internship that they will do somewhere within the golf industry. So whether it's and depending on, and people are studying that for different reasons. Some people are interested in the turf side of things. Some people are interested in the business elements. Some want to be professional golfers and just want to play. But so depending on those types of interests, they'll apply to internships throughout the country and different, golf industry things. So we've had students go to go assist, golf pros. We have some go work again, like these different courses under management and what have you. But like a major such as that has to do an internship. Whereas others, say for instance, we're talking about science majors earlier. They're not required to do one, but a lot of them do choose to do one because it adds to their hands-on experience. So I'm an engineer, but being an engineer with a degree versus an engineer with a degree and had an internship with NASA or had an internship with one of these federal agencies, makes them a lot more employable. It also gives them a lot more experience. So we do have guiding assistance with securing internships as well.
And if I can just add to that, the internship program that I was just speaking of is called the NDC SOAR program, internship program. So that is, if you want to look that information up, I'll drop it in the chat there so you can kind of look up and get more information about it. But it's called the NDC HBCU SOAR.
Okay, and Mr. Singletary, I have one last question for you before we bring Kentucky State on. That question is, do you all have strategic partnerships in place with other institutions, specifically if a student wants to come in and transfer to another university? Or is that just something that you all do in general?
So it's two-part. It's something we do in general. So when you come in, if a student come in and they know that they are wanting to transfer, we set them up with their academic advisor and they create a plan that will assist them in their transfer. But because we are a part of the AME Zion Church, Livingstone is our sister school. So we do have an agreement with Livingstone to some aspect, to some degree. And once students come in and they are trying to transfer, we can then have that conversation if they're trying to transfer to one of our sister schools. So we do have a partnership there, and we're in the process of having some articulation agreements with Winthrop, which is not too far from my institution. It's just maybe 5 minutes up the street. So there are some things in the pipeline that we are currently working on with our president to create a larger partnership and a connection of schools. But we do the traditional route where, let's say we don't have a partnership with North Carolina A&T, but if a student is thinking about transferring, we can also assist them in the general sense of creating a transfer process.
All right. So that's all the questions we have thus far. Hang tight, gentlemen. All right. Next up, we have Ms. Bellman from Kentucky State University. How are you this morning?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you all?
Doing well, doing well. We are going to turn it over to you now.
Awesome. So first of all, I want to say thank you for reaching out to us for this opportunity. Really happy to be here today to sort of share the opportunities that you have at Kentucky State. I know we're, out of state, but, I don't think we're too far away. So my name is Katie. I am an admissions specialist in the Office of Admissions at Kentucky State. So I'm going to have all kinds of knowledge about, campus admissions, but if there is a question that I can't answer, that I don't have the answer to, I'll get you those answers. So I'm going to share my screen. I do have a little presentation for you all. Just let me know if for some reason you cannot see that. So the admissions office at Kentucky State is called the Bread's office. Our mascot is the Thoroughbred, so that's where that comes from. We're going to be the ones who are going to help you with your application. We're going to help you make the college decision. We're going to help you figure out if Kentucky State is a good fit for you. I want every student to come to Kentucky State University, but if it's not a good fit for you, you don't need to come here. So we're really going to help you dive into that and figure that out before you make that choice. So just a little bit of background about Kentucky State. So we are one of only two, historically Black colleges and universities in Kentucky. We're the only public HBCU, and we're also the oldest HBCU in Kentucky. We're located in Frankfort, Kentucky, which is the state capital. So the capital is like 5 minutes away from our campus. So there are lots of shadowing opportunities and internships there. We were founded in 1886. We became a land-grant institution in 1890. So we have super robust programs in agriculture and the STEM fields, and also lots of scholarship money there. But we are a liberal arts college, so we have pretty much disciplines for anyone. We only have about 2,200 students, so we are a small school. Your classes are going to be about 10 to 15 students. Your professors aren't just there to teach you a class and send you on your way. They're going to be there through your entire 4 years. They're going to act as mentors to you, and you're never just going to be a number here at Kentucky State. So you're really going to have the opportunity to sort of personalize your education, individualize it to work for you, to make sure that you're successful at whatever it is that you're wanting to be successful at. So just a little bit about programs and majors. We do offer 38 undergraduate majors and 9 graduate programs. When I say 38 undergraduate majors, all of those majors branch off into different tracks. So you may be a business administration major on an accounting track, or you may be a business administration major on a management track. So there are lots and lots of different things to study when you actually start looking at all of those tracks. I will say our most popular programs are nursing, business administration, and computer science. We have one of the top nursing programs in our state. We offer an associate's in nursing, bachelor's in nursing, an RN to BSN, as well as a doctorate in nursing practice. So tons of opportunities in nursing here at Kentucky State. Our computer science program is really unique, really, really cool. One of our recent graduates, the most recent rocket launch that NASA did, one of our graduates was on that team. So who sort of helped launch that. So we're very, very proud of that. We also have a nationally awarded and recognized aquaculture center. So we have an entire research facility for aquaculture. It's got those big ponds and the big tanks. Frankfort is not a big city feel. Frankfort's a pretty small town, so we do have a lot of land to do research like that. But the aquaculture program is pretty unique if you're interested in studying marine life. They do horticulture. We have a 300-acre research farm, so you can go out there and do all kinds of research as well. I know hemp research is really big right now, so we have a lot of that going on as well. We also have a fermentation and distillation program. So any student interested in getting involved in distilling or brewing for their career, you can come here and do that, and that's a pretty unique program as well. We have 2 programs that we offer completely online. So our psychology program and our criminal justice program can be, you can get those completely online, so you don't have to set foot on our campus. We do offer them in person as well. Traditionally, most of our classes are in person. We're hoping to be fully back in person in the fall, but we have been doing sort of a hybrid model. Now, we have all kinds of pre-professional programs, so any students interested in pre-med, pre-law, pre-physical therapy, pre-dentistry, we do offer all of those, and we make sure that you meet the prerequisites to go into those professional schools afterward. We also have a pretty interesting engineering program. We do a 3-2 program with the University of Kentucky. So you spend 3 years at Kentucky State, and then you get your bachelor's in mathematics here, and then you spend 2 years at the University of Kentucky and get your bachelor's in engineering there. So you actually come out with 2 degrees in 5 years. So that's a really, really cool program. Great opportunities in engineering as well. So for our freshman students, you do have to have a 2.5 or higher GPA. We are test optional for the 21 academic year. I don't know if we're going to be test optional for the 22 year yet. So any juniors out there, just kind of keep that in mind. If you have the ability to take the ACT or SAT, just go ahead and do that. Go ahead and prepare yourself with those scores in case, you know, us or other schools are not test optional. But if you are looking to attend in the fall, we are test optional. We also have a program called the Excel program where students come in and earn their associate's degree before moving into their bachelor's degree. This program requires a 2.0 GPA, and then it's also test optional right now. And we'll say traditionally our test requirement is an 18 ACT or a 960 SAT. So like I said, any sophomores, juniors out there, just kind of keep that in mind. So as far as tuition rates go, we do offer some of the lowest tuition among HBCUs. We also offer the lowest tuition in our state for 4-year universities. So for out-of-state students, you're looking at $5,775 per semester. So right under $12,000 a year for your tuition. Now, I will say that is full price, and it's very rare that any of our students are paying full price. In fact, over 90% of our students come in with some sort of financial aid. So it's very rare that anyone's paying that full price. We also give all of our students free textbooks. You're never gonna have to pay out of pocket for your textbooks. And then you get a free laptop as well, and you get to keep it after you graduate. So you really have everything you need when you get to campus. You're not having to come out of your pockets with extra money to make sure that you have the things you need. You're gonna have that automatically. Our scholarships are pretty cool, mostly because there's no separate application. You're not writing an essay, you're not doing extra application, you're not getting letters of recommendation. We're gonna base this on your application for admission. So if we get your application and you submit transcripts, test scores, and you meet these requirements, we're gonna go ahead and send you an offer letter. So the John Henry Jackson Scholarship is our top scholarship. This requires a 3.5 GPA, a 1200 SAT, or a 25 ACT. This is pretty much your full ride. It's gonna cover everything. The Trailblazer Gold Scholarship, this is for first-time freshmen with a 3.2 GPA, a 22 ACT, or an 1100 SAT. This is going to cover, they just made a change to that. I know on the screen it says full in-state. It actually covers half of your tuition, half of your housing, half of your meals. So you're getting half price on everything. And then the Commonwealth Connector. So students would be eligible for this if they were in the surrounding states to Kentucky and they had a 3.0 GPA and then a 19 ACT or 980 SAT. This equals the in-state portion of your tuition. So it would basically take $3,850 per semester off of that $5,775. So that would leave your tuition around $2,000 a semester. The Thoroughbred Achievers is a really cool scholarship. So this scholarship goes to every one of our students. If you come to Kentucky State University, you're going to get a scholarship. The Thoroughbred Achievers is for every first-time student. It's $10,000 over 4 years. So your freshman year, you're going to get $1,000, sophomore $2,000, junior $3,000, senior $4,000. So by your senior year, you're getting $4,000 in scholarships just for coming to Kentucky State and staying at Kentucky State. This one is also pretty cool because it's stackable. So let's say you get the Commonwealth Connector, but you still owe around $2,000 per semester. You can use the Thoroughbred Achievers to kind of clean up what you owe, or you can use it to pay for your room and board. So that's a really, really great opportunity to make sure that our students are coming in with scholarships and that they're not going into a bunch of debt to attend Kentucky State. So this slide just shows some of the resources that we provide to our students free of extra charge. So we do have a career center. They are going to help you write your resume, develop interview skills, and they partner with companies and corporations across the nation and across the world. So they're going to help you find job openings as well. They host career fairs throughout the year. They host internship fairs throughout the year as well. So they're there to really help make sure that you are able to be employed after you graduate. And you have free access to them at any point. So you can be 5 years post-graduation and still use our Career Center. The Thoroughbred Learning Center is our tutoring center. So if you need help writing a paper, you need assistance in a class, or maybe you're doing really well in a class and you want to go be a tutor, you can do all of that here. The Health and Counseling Center is a full-service medical clinic located right here on our campus that students can go to for free. There are also mental health counselors there on a walk-in basis, so students have free access to that as well. University College is our first and second year advisors. So they're going to be there to sort of mentor you to help you make that transition from high school to college and also help you schedule your classes in a way that you're going to graduate in 4 years. We don't want you coming and taking classes you don't need to take and spending extra money and spending extra time. We want you to be able to get in here, get the classes you need, and graduate in 4 years. Disability Services Center is for any student who needs accommodations. So they do accept all IEP and 504 plans. So if you do have any of those, please make sure you reach out to them. Student Support Services is for our first generation as well as our low income students. This is just an extra layer of support. It's sort of like a mentorship program. And then Campus Police, we do have 2 police stations on our campus. They keep our campus very safe. They also monitor parking. So make sure you get your parking pass. It's only $30 per semester and you can park anywhere on our campus. And freshman students are allowed to bring cars to campus. I forgot to mention, I know I said Frankfurt's a pretty small town. You have everything you need. Obviously, we have grocery stores and clothing stores and all kinds of stuff here. We also have our student center, which has pretty much everything you would need. But if you're looking for like a big city, big mall, something like that, we're right in between Lexington and Louisville, about 30 to 40 minutes. So housing on our campus, we offer single, double, triple, and suite style rooms. We have 6 residence halls on our campus. We actually just got approved to break ground on a brand new residence hall that is supposed to be open for the fall of 22. So any juniors out there, I'm just going to throw this out there. If you come to Kentucky State in fall of 22, you could potentially be staying in a brand new state-of-the-art dorm. So we are very excited about that. I know that's very important to a lot of our students. Most of our dorms right now have that traditional double room with the communal style bathrooms. We do have 2 all-female dorms, Kentucky Hall and Chandler Hall. The rest of our dorms are going to be co-ed. We have about 60% female students, so that's why we have those 2 all-female dorms. Our dorms are all within 5 minutes to our student center. The student center is where you're going to have the CAF, we have the WOW Cafe, a Starbucks, a Qdoba, we have our bookstore, the Office of Campus Life is there. The game room is there. So the student center is really the hub of our campus, but all of the residence halls are kind of right around the student center, so you're never far away from something you need. Life on our campus, so there's always something going on. Even in the midst of the pandemic, when pretty much everything was virtual, we were still finding ways to engage with our students and have our students engaged with one another. We do have the Divine Nine fraternities and sororities. They're all active on our campus. So if you are interested in a Greek organization, you can definitely come here and do that. Our Student Government Association is also very, very active. They're always trying to find ways to enhance our campus for our students. We're a Division II school in athletics. So if you're interested in the sports team, just let me know. We have tons of student organizations, and the plus side of going to a small campus is that even if we don't have an organization that you're interested, you can always start it. So not only, do you get to share your interests with other students on our campus, but you really get to develop leadership skills by leading the organization as well. Our students are very active in the community. And then homecoming is always huge. Last year it had to be virtual, so hoping that this year our homecoming gets to be more in person, so we get that more traditional homecoming. So this screen just shows the sports that we offer. We also have an award-winning marching band. I don't know if you all just saw the Aretha Franklin documentary that National Geographic is releasing. Our marching band actually did a tribute to that. So if you get to go watch that on YouTube, go watch it. They're pretty awesome. So we have our marching band, we have the K-Rats who dance with the marching band. We also have 2 other dance teams on our campus. So lots and lots to get involved with. It's fun. If you're not interested in athletics, we have student organizations. Like I said, we have the marching band, we have gospel ensemble. So lots of things for you to do and network with students and really, be a part of the Thoroughbred family. We don't call it that for no reason. So our application is completely free. So you're never going to pay to do our application. There's not like a $50 fee or anything. You can go to our website and apply. It takes about 20 minutes. Then we just have to have your high school transcripts if you're a senior. So right at the end of your junior year, as soon as you graduate, you get your final grades posted, you can apply and send in your transcript and have an admissions decision. So that's pretty cool. But I'm going to go to this slide. This has my contact information on the bottom. Again, my name is Katie. I am more than happy to answer any questions you all have. That's my work cell, so you can actually call or text that number. I'm very responsive through email as well. Like I said earlier, I'm here to help you make that college decision. I'm here to make you figure out if Kentucky State University is a good fit for you. I would never want you going to a college that's not a good fit. So I'm more than happy to have those conversations. We can talk scholarships. I can answer any kind of questions you have. So I love hearing from you all. I love, figuring out what you're interested in, what your goals are, what you want to do on campus. So reach out to me anytime. And again, thank you for letting me come on today.
All right. Thank you, Katie. I'm going to open it up for the parents and the students before I start asking any questions and see what questions they may have.
I'm also going to put my contact information down here in the chat. I see what division is your football team. We are Division II. And our head coach, he's been there for about, I want to say a year. He used to be the assistant coach for the Falcons. So that's pretty cool. And I know our football players are really, really excited, getting excited for the fall because, they didn't get to play this past season due to the pandemic, but I saw them out practicing yesterday and I think they're getting really pumped to go play.
Okay. Any other questions from any students or parents? Okay, so a couple of questions I had. So it seems that Kentucky State definitely is an option, and definitely it seems that you all make education attainable for all individuals. So having said that, similar question to what I asked Mr. Singletary and Mr. Garrett about your bridge programs for students who may not necessarily be the most highest ranking academic students. Do you all offer any programs that will still make college attainable for students who have less than stellar academic performance?
Yeah, so I know when I was talking about admissions requirements, I mentioned the Excel program. So that is a program specifically designed for students who maybe don't quite meet those normal admissions requirements. That's a program where students come in, it's kind of like a cohort. So those students go to different meetings, they have different activities throughout the semester, they have a one-on-one mentor that they have to meet with frequently, and they attain their associate's degree first. So we have like an associate's in liberal arts. So they get that associate's degree. They're awarded that degree and then they move on into their bachelor's. So they actually come out with an associate's and a bachelor's degree. But yeah, so we do provide that program for students who maybe don't have the greatest, high school academic background. We're also extremely transfer friendly. So with community colleges and stuff, and if a student chooses to attend a community college first, we are very, very transfer friendly in that we're going to look at those classes really, really in depth to see what will be equivalent here. We're also more than happy to work with those students while they're at the community college to make sure that they're taking classes that will directly transfer. And a lot of our programs, like I know business administration, the nursing, like a lot of those classes are very similar with the community college classes. So very easy for a student to transfer. And also our transfer scholarships are really, really great. So if a student chooses to get an associate's degree at a community college first, if they have a 3.2 or higher GPA at the community college, they're looking at getting almost everything paid for. So we have really great transfer scholarships and opportunities for those students.
So looking at your scholarships, I saw what the GPA requirements were. Are those weighted or unweighted GPA requirements?
It is unweighted. So for scholarships as well as admissions requirements, we take unweighted GPAs.
Okay. And as far as college life, what can an incoming freshman expect, quote unquote, what their freshman year college experience would look like at Kentucky State?
Yeah, so it really varies student to student. And I always tell students, it's up to you to make college what you want it. And I actually talked to a member of Campus Life, the director over there, and she said something to me. She said, there's a difference between going to a college and attending a college. You can go to college and go to class and go to your dorm and do that for 4 years and get your degree. Or you can attend a school where you go to class, you get involved with organizations, people, you talk to your professors, and the experience is really based on what you want it to be. So the more you get involved, the more you network, that's going to just enhance your experience even more. Now, sorry, I went off on kind of a tangent. So for a first-time freshman coming to campus, we have new student orientation. So this is basically an entire day dedicated to making sure the student has all of the information they need and that they're ready to go, ready to start. Then we have what we call Bread Week. This is an entire week dedicated to our freshmen before classes even start. So our freshmen move in early. So they're there on campus with one another, with the faculty and the staff. And there are tons of things going on. There are lots of networking events. We have their pinning ceremony, lots of different, motivational speakers. We have, workshops on study habits and presentations from our tutoring center. So really trying to get those students acclimated before they actually have to jump into classes. So once the students in classes, kind of getting into that, like I said, they can get involved in pretty much anything they want. We have campus-wide events all the time. I know recently when we had all that snow, we had a campus-wide snowball fight. We had a day where the students all went sledding because our campus is on this huge hill. We call it the hill. So the students all went sledding. But really getting out and being involved in those things as a freshman is so important because, you can join student government. You can run for Mr. and Mrs. Freshman, join the Royal Court, start, talking to people about Greek organizations. Just get involved because the thing about our campus is that everyone is there to support you. it's not really a competitive atmosphere on our campus. It's more of like a supportive, let's succeed together atmosphere on our campus. So there's a little playful competition, but really everyone wants to succeed together. So students can expect to kind of see that support, see that fellowship on our campus. But it really is what you make it. So get out there, go to the workshops, do the campus events, talk to the Greek organizations, talk to the Royals, talk to the student government students. They're all there to help you. So
Awesome. Does Kentucky State also offer ROTC options?
yes, we do have Army ROTC.
Okay, that's just Army?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we do Army and National Guard.
Okay. And from an out-of-state student standpoint, what type of support services do you all have for out-of-state students, especially with them coming from as far away as possible, but to make them feel comfortable coming in? And I always look at the freshman year because that's the year that can make or break a student.
Yeah. So our out-of-state students, I always tell them, you don't need to feel overwhelmed because 40% of our students come from out of state. Some years it's even higher than that. So you're most likely not even the furthest from home. So you're most likely going to meet people there who are from the same state as you, if not from the same city. And I think it personally really gives those students the opportunity to have something in common with one another. We find that our out-of-state students really connect with one another really, really well, to the point where, if they're going back home on the weekend, they'll like ride together, so I think they kind of develop their own support system, but also we have tons of support on our campus regardless. I don't know that we have like a specific program for out-of-state students just because it's such a large population of students on our campus. But everything on our campus is really dedicated to make sure that the students are coming in and feeling comfortable and succeeding, whether it be the tutoring center, the career center, student support services, and our campus life department. They are super involved with our students. Like our students know our, VPs on a first name basis. So those people are always there. They have their phone numbers. They can text them if something's going on. We do wellness checks with our students. If like a professor suspects, the student's not showing up to class or the student is, maybe not acting like, they're having a good time. We do wellness checks for those students as well.
Okay. Are you all doing in-person tours, college tours now?
So we weren't until about 2 days ago.
Okay.
We haven't fully advertised it yet because we don't want to get completely overrun, but I will tell you all here, this is kind of special. If you email admissions@kysu.edu and request a tour, at this point, we're doing our very best to get you all in for in-campus tours. And I'm really excited about that because we haven't been able to have students on our campus in like a year at this point. So we're really excited, but we're trying not to like get super overrun. But I'm going to tell you all that. Email us, set it up. I would love to hear from you. So.
Okay. So are you all looking at being fully open in the fall of 2021? Okay.
From what I'm hearing, there hasn't been a decision yet, but from what I'm kind of hearing around campus, the goal is to be open for the fall completely.
Okay. All right. I think that's all the questions that I see. I'm going to check and make sure. Does anyone else have any other questions for Katie? All right. All right. Well, hearing none, thank you so much, Katie. And of course, I'll be in touch with you without a doubt. We'll be looking at planning some of our, hopefully our in-person tours for next spring. We'll see how things go, but either way,
fingers
I will definitely,
crossed.
yes. Either way, I'll definitely be in touch with you. And thank you so much for taking time out on this Saturday to bring this information to our students. We greatly appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you for the invite. We really appreciate it.
All right. Enjoy your day.
You as well.
All right. And having said that, that will conclude our spring GuideRight virtual college tour today. Now, if anyone has any questions, please let me know.